It's an honor to have a friend of mine here, Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, and he's done a
That's a good start to anything. I'm here with my buddy Viktor Orban.
fantastic job. He's a very powerful man within his country, but he's also beloved. They love Viktor, and people that know him do. He's run a really great country, and he's got no crime, he's got no problems like some countries do, but probably has a couple of things that I don't know about, maybe that I don't want to know about. But he's a very special person. I've known him for a long time. We're going to be talking trade. We're going to be talking a little bit of Russia, Ukraine. We'll be talking about energy and energy prices. We have energy down to a pretty low point right now in the United States. We're drilling, drill baby drill, we call it. But energy costs are very low. Our general costs are very low. And I just saw that Walmart came out with a statement last night. They've done it for many years, that Thanksgiving this year will cost 25% less than Thanksgiving last year under Sleepy Joe Biden. So that's a big difference. That's a big difference. 25% less Thanksgiving. And I think that's a very good chart. They include everything that you need for Thanksgiving. So it's 25% less this year than it was last year. And that's true. That's emblematic of...
Yeah, I mean, you could be successful, but not like a good person. It's not... It's not like being successful and absolves you of anything. You're President yeah, I mean, he is the president. It's a mistake the American people made, I believe. Alright, whatever.
Of the rest of prices. Energy prices are way down from what
like,
they were
did he? Yeah, that's a good point.
Inflation is almost non-existent. We have inflation down to a very
Seems
low
like
number. Whereas Biden, as you know, is the worst inflation in the history of our country. That is a good example. So we're doing very well. We have a shutdown, as you probably know, because the Democrats have gone, they're crazy. They're crazy. But they don't care if they hurt the country. But
this is the guy, okay, I know, literally the guy, but also, like, they just appealed and lost to not pay out SNAP benefits that the court said you gotta pay out. Like, wow. Really, those evil Democrats. Huh?
We've approved it 14 times.
Would you shut up, man?
Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that, Dr. Monarch.
And, I guess maybe they will again. Let's see what happens. They want to have a lot of bad things happen. Bad things for our country. We're not going to give $1.5 trillion to people that can't.
First of all, the difference, so the Democratic proposed CR, I think the difference is roughly $300 billion over 10 years, all of which is for Medicaid and funding underserved hospitals in rural areas and poor areas. This talking point about illegal immigrants, it's not that no illegal immigrants will be helped. It's just that by nature of funding underserved hospitals, you will incidentally help some illegal immigrants because we don't ask you for your papers when we decide to treat you. We treat you and then figure that out. So I think the estimated spend that might go to illegal immigrants is in the tens of millions annually, if that. It's like 1% of 1%.
Came into our country illegally. We're not going to do it. People came from prisons. They came from mental institutions. They're drug dealers. They want to give them
all
medical
of this
care.
BS. Yeah, okay. If you're in the U.S. and you're going to a hospital, you get medical care. That is part of the deal of just being a country and having hospitals. I don't think anyone's going to say no. Actually, we have to start doing immigration checks before we treat people in the emergency room. Like, no.
$1.5 trillion.
That's ridiculous.
And we're not going to do other things that they're requesting also. So I just want to
like
welcome
funding
this,
SNAP, by the way. That's what he's
really
referring to there.
Good person. I know him very well. He's a good person. And he's a great leader, and he's loved in this country. And Viktor, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much, President.
Thank you.
First of all, may I say that Thank you very much for the invitation. It's good to see you, President, back to the White House. And good to be back after 6 years, in a way, again, to see you here, as we have met last time. The reason why we are here to open a new chapter between the bilateral relation of the United States and Hungary, basically because during the Democrat administration, everything was ruined. So after your leaving president,
Every single leader. I want him out more than anything. I cannot wait. Now, this is something that I differ from a lot of people on. I can't wait for him to be out. I want to go back to talking about what the correct marginal tax rate is, what the correct levels of regulations are. I don't want to be talking about how much fascism is fine. Like, it's boring to have this be the discourse. I want to go back to the right levels of taxing, the right levels of regulation, what government spending we should do, what we shouldn't do. But now the dialogue is so poisoned that we're asking questions that have been settled hundreds or like decades ago. Or, tens or hundreds of years ago. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't want this to be it. I want to have an argument about what the proper way to tax land is. Like,
everything was basically broke, ruined, cancelled. A lot of harm done by the previous.
No, I just remember the time before he was here when the argument was about like the ACA and whether or not that should be a thing. He's here. That is the fact. He will be gone. That is also a fact. I'm saying I preferred it when he wasn't here.
Administration. In the last 10 months, President, what you have done, we are very much grateful for that. You restored the old level of the relationship. You improved the bilateral relation. You repair what was done badly by the previous administration. So now we are in quite a good position to open up a new chapter, let's say a golden age between United States and Hungary. And we have plenty of suggestions for today: economic cooperation, military cooperation, and political cooperation. And the main issue, probably, President, you know, we are neighboring Ukraine.
What about Hyundai?
Sure. Which is in war. It's the most important issue for us, and we would like to discuss with you how we can contribute to help you in your peace efforts.
Yeah. I think Biden was an effective president. I like the infrastructure bill. I like the CHIPS Act. I like that he was able to bring inflation down from 9% to 2.5% as we were recovering from COVID. We recovered faster than anywhere else in the developed world. So, yeah, it was a grand old time.
And you've taken a lot of Ukrainians that needed your help, and you've taken a lot of them in your country, and everybody appreciates that.
Thank you very much. We do our best.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Orban has requested an exemption as it relates to oil that is coming from Russia. Is that something that you are prepared to?
Yeah, I mean, look, if Trump's able to get him to stop buying Russian oil, that's great. Like, I'll give Trump props in that regard. Like, now it shouldn't be a question as to whether or not we support Ukraine. That should have been automatic. But since we're in the spot now, there's a right choice and a wrong choice. So.
And may I ask Mr. Orban a question in regards to that very issue?
Tragic run.
We're looking at it because it's very difficult for him to get the oil and gas from other areas. As you know, they don't have the advantage of having sea. It's a great country. It's a big country, but they don't have sea. They don't have the ports. And so they have a difficult problem. There's another country that has that same problem, by the way. But when you look at what's happened with Europe, many of those countries, they don't have those problems, and they buy a lot of oil and gas from Russia.
Well, I don't think, but if that was Biden's ability to run, then no, he probably shouldn't have run. Should have stepped aside earlier. But I would have, like, was out of state, but would have voted for Kamala happily, and I'd do it again. I think more and more people are realizing, fuck, that probably was the right choice. Don't think she was a great candidate. Don't think she was as bad as people say. Hell of a lot better than Trump. I would have taken Biden in that state, too, over Trump any day.
And as they know, I'm very disturbed by that because we're helping them and they're going and buying oil and gas from Russia. So that question could be really asked maybe more accurately if you talked about many European countries, not Hungary necessarily, because Hungary is in a different position. But many European countries are buying oil and gas from Russia, and they have been for years. And I say, what's that all about, right? Thank you.
Look, if you want to talk about different flubs that, if you want to talk about different flubs that Biden's had, like, dude, the flubs from Trump, like Azerbaijan, oh my god, the whole fucking acetaminophen, which I'm just learning is Tylenol. Like, this guy has like, I'm sorry, Trump beats Biden in flubs any day. It's like...
Yeah,
So that will be one of the issues for today, to explain clearly what would be the consequences for the Hungarian people and for the Hungarian economy not to get oil and gas from Russia because we are supplied by pipelines. Pipelines.
Yeah, I would take the amorphous Democratic establishment over Trump any day, yeah.
Not an ideological or political issue, it's a physical reality because we don't have port, exactly as the President explained to you. So we will negotiate on that point. It's vital for us anyway.
Mr. Orban, there are two pipelines, as I understand it. There's a pipeline from Ukraine and there's a pipeline from Croatia. And my understanding is that the pipeline from Croatia can provide all of Hungary's energy.
Oh, man. Well, Biden might fall asleep, but Trump might have a heart attack, so... Trump's definitely got the mass, but... Biden was able to tank that bike fall, so... I don't know, it's a rough one.
As a result, why would we need an exemption?
Oh my god, these are terrible.
So when we discuss that issue, you should separate the gas and the oil. On the gas issue, which is very important.
If that's what you think, you're more than welcome to go watch someone else. Like, I've arrived that there's 30% of the country that is diehard Trump that will never leave it. These are people that actually think their prices for groceries are down when they are just demonstrably not. People that are willing to ignore their own eyes to support Trump. Like, if that is you, then that's fine. I just... You're probably going to be better served from someone else.
For us, 90% of the Hungarian households based on heating system based on gas. So
all the polls suggest that it's 30%.
We have only
I'll put together a document of all of it, but it's about 30%.
one pipeline delivering gas to Hungary, which is the main pipeline, the Turkish one. What we got from Croatia is a very small volume supplementary gas pipeline. Okay, that's gas. Oil is another issue. So oil is coming from the Druzhba pipeline, which is the main supply, and that is a Croatian one, which is the secondary and supplementary pipeline. We would like to convince the Croatian government to enlarge it and make it possible to deliver more. Under these circumstances, it cannot be the main pipeline. It's just supplementary. But later on, with some big investments, it could serve better the interest of Hungary.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Many people see this meeting not just as an encounter between two countries, but as the symbol of the strengthening.
What is she saying?
Alliance.
This, as unintelligible as it is on y'all's end, I'm sure it's just as I can't understand it at all here.
Interpretation, and how do you see the future of Europe in the light of leaders like Viktor Orban stand up to Brussels bureaucracy and the globalist agenda?
I cannot make
Are
one
you
out.
from Hungary? I figured. The fact is that he's a great leader, and he's respected all over, not necessarily liked by some of the leaders, but, you know, those leaders are proven to be wrong. if you look at his stance on immigration and other things, you know, if you look at Europe, they've made tremendous
Completely functional. My ass.
mistakes on immigration. It's really hurting them very badly.
Good luck.
He has not made a mistake on immigration. So he's respected by everybody. He's liked by some. And I can tell you, I like and respect. I'm a double. I like and respect him. And that's the way Hungary is being led. They're being led properly. And that's why he's going to be very successful in his upcoming election.
May I have a comment
Please.
on that? You know, language is important because the Anglo-Saxon terminology is different from the European one. So to use categories can create some misunderstanding. So I would like to be clear as much as we can. We are the only government in Europe which consider itself as a modern Christian government. All the other governments in Europe are basically liberal leftist governments. So we
Yeah. Is that points to you or against you?
We try to do something from 2010 which is different from what the others are doing, even at the philosophical level and at the level of practice as well, as just the president described it. Like,
Look, yeah, I don't think obvious. Like, okay, on this stream, we condemn political violence wholeheartedly. Yes, hurting people over politics is not good. And if you're Turkish, yeah, you definitely understand that one. Yeah, no, I mean, we can always talk about it, and until that erodes, there's no reason to be violent. The real problem of U.S. citizens in by media, I don't know if I'd say that, because, like, under Obama, we were able to get, like, what, 24 million people insured? I'd say that's serving the people. Bringing inflation down under Biden, that's serving the people. Revitalizing infrastructure, bringing us out of COVID, I'd say that's serving the people. I think there are things that politicians do that definitely don't, but I think, you know, zero credit and some credit is like night and day when you bring these things up. But I do think some presidents deserve some credit for serving the people.
migration. So we are kind of a special island of difference in a liberal ocean in Europe. And we consider
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, so non-interventionism, that's... Some people would say that there's service to the American people for that, and some would say that it's not in our interests. But it's a disagreement we can have. I would say that some wars we've been involved in do serve our interests, and some don't. No, not really. Again, Trump is pretty fucking old. So, I'm good.
consider ourselves as a modern Christian government. That's the proper category to describe what we are doing.
To both of you, immigration.
We're talking, but we'll report on that later. Meetings with Putin. We were talking about that with Victor. He understands Putin and knows him very well. And I feel that, I mean, I'm going to let you say what you think, but I think that Victor feels we're going to get that war ended in the not too distant future. Victor, do you want to talk about that?
Well, I'm strongly convinced. So
Probably
the
should
question
display
is
the
whether
flush
we
there.
Westerners are unified or not. The problem is that the president has huge peace efforts, which are just splendid and very positive for the European continent and all the peoples of Europe. But at the same time, we are not unified because Brussels and the Europeans have a different approach to the war. So the only pro-peace government is the United States government and the small Hungary in Europe anyway.
Again, there's a difference between peace and a just peace. You can't just say peace is the end goal. Like, if Ukraine has to give up all of the territory, that's not a just peace. It's not really a peace worth having in the minds of a lot of people. Like, it's got to be a peace that is worth taking.
All the other governments prefer to continue the war because many of them think that Ukraine can win on the front line, which is a misunderstanding of the situation. So it's a complicated issue. We will discuss it. It requests not just 2 minutes to respond to your question, but rather than our lecture. Sorry, not to continue more than that.
To both of you.
So you would say that Ukraine cannot win that war?
You know, miracle can happen.
Yeah, that's right.
To both of you. In that
Yeah,
BFFS
go ahead.
summit.
Thank you, Mr. President. What is your message to the EU, because from Hungary and the EU want to impose their...
Again, Trump's policies being determined by whoever he talks to last. So coming up here, we're going to see a lot less pro-Ukrainian rhetoric and a lot more pro-Russian bullshit. I'm so tired of this.
war policies in Hungary? What is your message?
Well, I think they should respect Hungary and respect this leader very, very strongly, because he's been right on immigration. Look what's happened to Europe with the immigration. They have people flooding Europe all over the place, and it's hurting it. It's
Wasn't Hungary's policy just like Texas, ship them further into Europe? That's not addressing a problem. That's not dealing with a problem. That's offloading it to someone else. It's like what Texas does. That's such bull. Come on.
the crime rates are way up. A lot of bad things are happening. His crime rates are very low. They're the same as they always were, which is very little crime, because he's kept it the way it should be. Europe, I mean, I don't want to go into individual countries. They're all friends of mine, everyone. As you know, in NATO, they voted to...
So my take on immigration is that, yeah, my name is Dustin. Okay, well, Gray is my last name. Oh, yeah, if you're doing Mr., then it would be Mr. But I don't go by, just Dustin's fine. So my take on immigration is that in order for a country with a modern economy to survive, and it's not at replacement rate from its current citizens, it needs immigration to sustain both its economy and its social programs. All right? So the U.S. does need immigration purely economically to sustain our government, our Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We need immigration to do that. There has been a kind of ignoring of the problem at the border of unvetted people. That is true. Biden's approach was closer to what I would have liked, which was increased spending on processing claims, increased spending on safe pathways, create systems in place that allow for both time. Yes, it does, but again, it's not. It's not about the current levels. It's the level at which it's growing, and our current population. It's not like without immigration, we don't have a large enough replacement. Younger, like we don't have enough youth entering the workforce to fill our economic needs and our growth. So you're seeing this a lot in Japan, which is very anti-immigration. They're having a lot of trouble funding all of their social programs. Their economy is stagnating. Now, they're homogenous, and people will point to that and be like, see, look at this homogenous society. And if that's what you want, then that's fine, but there's a lot that you have to give up. And I don't know if people fully are able to reckon with what you have to give up for homogeneity. I would argue that homogeneity isn't really a goal in and of itself. It doesn't matter really to me what the average person in my country looks like. It just, yeah, that doesn't really weigh to me. So I want safe, effective, efficient pathways to immigrate here legally. But also, you know, like spend on it. Make sure people do it right, and make sure people are vetted. But long story short, I'm pro-immigration. The Democrats didn't get it right for a while. Let's get it right this time. If you think that if your takeaway from that spiel was that I want open borders, you have holes in your brain, man.
go from 2% to 5%, and you know that nobody thought that was possible, and we had just about almost, other than Spain, a unanimous vote. No, I think that I think they respect him a lot.
I'm not German. I'm just a mashup of Europe. Sure.
They don't agree with him, but actually, inwardly, I think they.
I think I'm mostly English/Australian. I think I have some French and some Nordic, but it's just just like a mutt of Europe. But I don't really care too much about my genetic like lineage. It doesn't really weigh that heavily on me. No, I'm American born and raised. My parents are American born and raised. Like, yeah, I think you have to go back a couple generations before someone immigrated here. So, some Italian too. Like I said, it's a mutt. Yeah, his dad is German, right?
They probably do agree. What he was right on immigration. They were wrong. They are flooding Europe with people from all over.
Okay, they're people go through Hungary to get to the rest of Europe, and Hungary's solution to their immigration was ship them further into. Like, come on, that's not solving anything. That's such a brain dead take.
For the world, and Europe is becoming a different place. And I tell the leaders all the time, you better stop, or you're not going to have Europe anymore. It's a very dangerous thing they're doing.
May I have a reflection on that? So on migration issue, just for clarification, in Hungary, the number of illegal migration is like that.
Also, let me know. Let me know if my mic is like crackly, because that's been a problem that's coming up. Hello, testing. Oh, we're good. So that's the difference between U.S. immigration and European immigration. Is the U.S. does a lot better, like, integration. Like in Europe, there's a lot slower ability to work. So there's less integration within communities. Like the Muslim population in the U.S. and the Muslim population in Europe is assimilation. Thank you. That's what I was going for. Is a bit different. Like in the U.S., like it's really not a like we've assimilated people pretty damn well. As much as people will say against that, like we're pretty fucking good at it. In Europe, they're having trouble. Yeah, the Sharia law thing doesn't weigh to me. It's like it won't happen. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Zero. Because we have a crystal clear system. If somebody would like to come to Hungary, first he should ask for that. If you give the permission, they can step in. Nobody can step on the territory of Hungary without having a permission from the Hungarian authorities. This is the regulation. Simple, well working. What is the consequence of that? We are under sanctions, financial sanctions of European Union, because we don't let the illegal migrations to come to Hungary and to the European Union as well. So we have to pay, just to inform you, we have to pay every day 1 million euro as a punishment to the Brazilian budget, because we stop the migrants. This is the absurd world we are living now in Europe.
So most countries are party to a refugee convention, which is like, hey, if people are fleeing, seeking asylum, you got to take them. Because, you know, if your country falls apart, you'd want other countries to take you. Like, that is a convention that almost everyone has signed. I need to read it, but more.
To both of you.
Go ahead, please.
Dear,
Yes,
Thank
go
you
ahead.
so much. Thank you. I'd like to ask what do you think, what do you believe after this meeting? Can you have maybe, or the European Union will have another opinion about just because of his panel,
Yeah,
another opinion about
exactly.
Hungary, because of the immigration and because of this kind of politics, which is not that strictly as the European Union directs. What do you believe?
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Hungary.
Okay.
Where do you think,
I do
brother?
have that conversation with them, and I respect it.
It's like he had I think it was the Turkish press. It's like, oh, you're from Turkey? Wow, a lot of people from Turkey. It's like, no shit.
And like that. Yeah, they're
Hang
all
on, I
friends
think I
of mine.
made
I
a
think pretty
clip
much
about
every
it.
single leader in Europe is a friend of mine. We get along really well. They've done everything I've asked them to do with NATO, etc. The only thing they continue to do is buy oil from Russia. That's not too good. But I told them they should respect this man. They can
I think
also
it's
learn
this
from
one.
Victor. Victor has had a very hard stance on.
Dude, Vance is...
It would be in US.
Vance is a special case. Like, his early stuff, he was able to talk so eloquently to the issues of, like, the Rust Belt and Middle America, and he has sold those people out for a sliver of political power, and it's really sad. Like, if you ever have time, look up old J.D. Vance talking about the issues of America. I don't know why he does it. I think he wants to, like, be the next face of the MAGA movement, because it is a powerful movement, but he doesn't have the charisma for it, and he's had to give up so much of his soul for it.
It would be in US production.
Where are you from?
Turkey.
I see. We have a lot of people from Turkey here.
It's almost like you had the fucking Turkish president. Yeah, that was my... I was on one that day.
More than anything else, immigration or even illegal immigration. He literally has accepted no
Huge.
one over the years. Think of how much greater these countries would be if they didn't have the tremendous.
Okay, without immigration, none of Europe's social programs, which people love, would be able to support themselves. I'm not arguing for less vetting or anything like that. I'm just saying you do need immigration, and refugees are they're a part of that immigration. I mean, like, yeah, it is. The glaze is crazy, as the kiddos say.
Crime that's coming
Okay,
with the immigration. People just flowing into Europe. They've got to stop it. And not only stop it, they have to reverse it. They have to get them out. We've done that here. We have 0 people coming in now. The borders are closed.
Again,
We
that's
take
not a
people,
good
but we
thing.
take them legally. But we've done it very strongly, and we're moving hundreds of thousands, millions of people out. We had, of the 20 million people, 25 million, nobody knows even what the number is. They never knew. Biden had no idea. He had no idea. I don't believe he had any idea what was happening, because he wasn't about open borders. But we had open borders, and we had millions
What about WikiLeaks?
of people come in, and they were coming in from jails. They were coming in from mental institutions. They were coming in as drug dealers. We had 11,888 murderers. Half of them committed more than one murder. We're getting them all out. We're getting them out. He doesn't have that problem, but Europe does have that problem.
If that comes out, okay. If the JD Vance Trump video comes out before on WikiLeaks, I'll cover that on stream. I'll get banned for it, but that'll be a hell of a way to go out.
Other parts of Europe have that problem. So, I tell them all the time, I stick up for Viktor Orban. Not a lot of people do, because in many cases they're jealous. They wish they did what he did. They would have no problem
Okay,
if he did what he did. And I have a bigger heart than anybody, but, they've destroyed some
Okay, we know your doctor told you that, but that's not a good thing.
of those countries. Some of those countries had no crime 10 years ago, and now they have quite a bit of crime. And I would say that I don't know anything about your crime levels, but I would imagine they're very low.
Down.
Huh?
They're very
Not
down.
too high, right?
No, it's very down. One of the best in
I
Europe.
had a feeling.
Sorry, may I have one remark?
Sure, please.
No. Just a clarification as well.
Fuck.
I'm not here to ask how President Trump to manage my conflicts or our conflicts with the European Union. This is our matter, so we will do it. What we need is a golden age, to open a golden age of the United States-Hungarian relationship. That's the biggest hub.
So, what, he's here... Do we currently have sanctions on Hungary? Or is he worried that we'll put sanctions on them?
Can get from United
And maybe
States.
Europe too. You know, we can include Europe. It's going to get more difficult.
So inside the European Union, we will manage all of our affairs. To be the most possible humble guy, yeah? But I'm the longest-serving Prime Minister of Europe. I survived all the Prime Ministers who attacked us. And I'm sure we will survive next years as well. So we will manage our conflicts successfully.
Mr. President,
one question for you, Mr. President. One question for the Prime Minister. Speaking of Europe, last month you said that you would not withdraw U.S. troops from Europe. Yet, a few weeks later, the Pentagon decided to withdraw significant number of troops from Romania. So have you changed your mind, or the Pentagon ignored your assurance?
Uh-oh.
I don't ignore anything that I say.
I love the questions that are like, hey, square these two policies. And he's like, whoa, that never happened. Shit. Fuck.
What they do is we make changes.
Doo-doo.
We move. It's the same number, total number, but we move people around. I happen to like the Romanian people. I think they're great people. And Pete, you may want to suggest something right there, please.
Absolutely. No, nothing was uncoordinated with the White House. It's all part of the view that we have of Europe, and there will remain troops in Romania, but there's some change in how we rotate and how many we rotate.
And the relationship with Romania is very good, right?
It's very good, and we've coordinated all this with Secretary General Ruta, throughout UCOM, throughout our allies. Everyone was notified in advance.
The relationship with Romania is very good. The relationship with Europe is very good. I disagree with what Europe is doing having to do with immigration, but I agree with them on many other subjects. We just signed the biggest trade deal ever made with Europe, $950 billion. We were able to do it because of tariffs. It was a deal that was good, very good, but we had a very unfair deal. We were treated very badly before I came into office, but we just signed. It's the single biggest trade deal ever signed. So we have a very good relationship with Europe. Yeah.
What is the main dispute with the Russians which prevent the Budapest summit with
Yeah, Trump, why aren't the Russians coming to negotiate?
Putin
The basic dispute is they just don't want to stop yet. And,
wow. Okay, he's so close to
I
getting
think it's taken a big toll on Russia, a big toll on both countries, obviously, but it's taken a big toll. They're losing 7,000 soldiers a week. That's a big toll. And between the two of them, divided.
Stop giving me that.
You know, with Russia losing more soldiers, actually.
So getting that Russia is not interested in peace. Russia wants to keep fighting to take more land. And Ukraine doesn't want to give them their land. I'm sorry. Sometimes peace isn't the option. It's a just peace. A peace that people are willing to accept. If both parties are still going to fight, they are not satisfied where the thing is now, they're not going to come to the table. They're still both incentivized to fight.
Actually, but they're both losing a lot of people. And that's the primary thing that with me, it's not economic, it's not money. In fact, we don't spend any money. We send it to NATO. They pay us for our missiles and for our military.
Yeah, that's also, this is just an abdication of duty. We have someone who's trying to westernize their country to Ukraine, is trying to clean up their corruption, try and change their legal system to match the EU, to get everything ready to be part of NATO, part of the EU. They want to leave Russia's sphere of influence and join ours. And under Biden, we were like, we will help you. We will prevent this territorial occupation from Russia on your stuff because they're doing a last grasp trying to keep you in their sphere of influence. We're going to help you join ours because you asked. Trump is like, whoa, fuck you guys. You got to stay in Russia's sphere of influence. It makes no fucking sense.
And everything else, we don't. It's not a question of money. It was with Biden. He spent $350.
I am happy for my tax dollars to go to Ukrainian support. That is something I want. Okay? I don't want our allies to have to buy weapons from us to what? To defend their sovereignty? Sovereignty? Like, no. This is... Are we... what are we talking about here? How is this a question?
$50 billion, he got nothing for it. The war would have never happened. If I were president, the war would have never happened. I think you would agree with that. This
Putin had Crimea the whole time.
This war would never have happened if I were president. It's stupid that it happened. But it did happen. I inherited the war, and I think we're going to get it ended. Now,
yeah, this is Viktor Orban. Sorry, can you give me, like, the brief synopsis on Orban? I'm not terribly familiar.
not too distant future.
Yes, please. So no question that if
I feel like I could do a lot more commentary. I haven't done enough reading on Orban. I don't want to talk out of my ass because I'm a Twitch streamer. Why do I not talk out of my ass more?
that time the name of the United States president would have been Donald Trump, there would be no war between Ukraine and Russia. That's clear. But what we are speaking about here is more than that, because without the pressure coming from the United States government, I'm speaking 2022, the Europeans would not take that hard line, what they have today on the war. Remember that big countries of Europe rejected to be involved more than just sending some, humanitarian issues. So the pressure coming from the United States to be more pro-war in Europe. So that's the fact of the history anyway. So we have to restore something which was.
Okay, that's what I figured. That was my high level understanding of him. I didn't know about the wasting aid part though.
Ruined and created from here, and that's the reason why
I've also heard. I don't
devotion
have
of the
the
president
full
now
facts on
to
that.
do everything to stop the war, because that would be not that deep without the previous government pressure from here. So
is it pro-war or is it anti-invasion to fund the defense of a country that's being invaded? Is that pro-war? Yeah, he did say it's not that deep. As Russia is flying drones over Poland and Estonia. What do you mean it's not that deep? And even without that, it's Russia violating the sovereign territory of a country that's trying to westernize. I'm 14. That's deep.
The reason why I'm here to be as much as helpful I can to contribute to the peace efforts of the president, because that was an enormous mistake what we have done, the Western world several years ago, and we have to stop it, and it's common responsibility.
Biden actually pushed for that war to happen. Okay, if you can believe it. Nobody can believe it, but it's one of those things. And now look what happened. Look what's happened to Ukraine. It's much smaller.
Biden pushed? As in Biden said, hey, look, if you guys get invaded, we'll help? Because we signed a treaty that said if you get invaded, we'll help? That was our agreement. We said, give up your nuclear weapons, and we'll come help you if you get invaded. Now they're getting invaded. Biden helped. And Trump's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Fuck. What's America's refund policy on nukes? Good question.
Our country, a lot of people are dead. You take a look at it's a whole different world over there, and Russia has not been helped very much by that war either. They lost a tremendous number of soldiers and people. And, look, that war should have been a 1-week war. I don't know why it's taken. This is 4 years.
Because the Ukrainians are badass, man.
Should have been 1 week.
That's
should have been
why.
over with, but it would have never started. Should have never started. And I would have solved the problem without giving up anything. Ukraine would have remained as is. So there were tremendous mistakes long before I got there. I inherited that mess, so we're getting it solved, along with the 8 wars that we've already ended.
Okay. 1 week war sounds like a war. Yeah, well, there's the 6-day war, the 12-day war. I don't know much about the Yom Kippur War.
Prime Minister Orban,
Mr. President,
What is America's
will
interest
that-
cultivating better relations with the EU leader or Orban?
I think I can do both. I mean, there's no reason why I can't. I get along well with the.
Again, this is something too about Trump, is that he's unable to reckon with the idea that sometimes you do have to give something up. Sometimes there is a give and take. Every single thing he says, he's like, no, this will be both ends of the benefit. And it's beyond Trump too. It's a lot of Republicans that are like, we will keep Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all of our defense spending, but also we'll cut taxes. And the deficit will be fine because we said so. Like, no. Like, you have to give something up to get something. Can't have your cake and eat it, too.
European nations.
We are still a member of the European Union, so it's easy.
Yeah, and by the way, he's a member in good standing, I guess, although they penalize him every once in a while. But he's a member in good standing with the European Union, so he's a member. He's a part of it. But I get along great with him. I get along very well with them. I agree with him on immigration much more than I agree with them. But I agree with, a lot of the things in Europe he also agrees with. But he had a.
Can I call you Dustin Apple? Why not? You know what? Go for it. I don't care. It's funny.
Difference, I would say, primarily on immigration more than anything else. And I happen to think he was right because their whole fabric has changed. I mean, you go to some of the countries, they're unrecognizable now.
Uh-oh. The Fuentes stuff has been in his ear. The cultural fabric, the photo of an average picture. Hold on, I'm fighting the 2003 Iraq War. I'll be back in a second. That's what Bush said.
Because of what they've done. And Hungary is very recognizable. Yes, ma'am.
Man, you really got one thing on your mind.
Peace summit in Budapest still this year. What do you think?
You mean a meeting with President Putin?
Yes.
You mean in Hungary? Well, I'd like to keep it in Hungary, in Budapest. That meeting, it turned out I didn't want to do that meeting because I didn't think anything was going to be happening.
Sorry, who canceled that meeting?
Of significance, but if we have it, I'd like to do it in Budapest. Yeah, it'd be good.
Mr. President, you said many times to support Viktor Orban. Why is it important to win the next election, for example, for the United States, Hungary, and also Europe? Why is it important?
Well, I don't know his opponent. I don't know if he has an opponent yet. At some point he will, I guess. We always have opponents,
always.
right? Not much of an opponent, but I'll be supportive of him. He's done a fantastic job. We've had a great relationship.
That's a wild chat
the
message.
The United States, look, we had a country that had no leader. It had an auto pen, illegal auto pen, totally illegal.
You're going to have to give me, we'll find out. Do you want to give me the synopsis on that?
And that's coming out stronger.
Wait, that's for shit. Yeah, that's the same-sex marriage one, right? I saw an AP article about them it's on the docket for them to consider whether or not to overturn same-sex. That's what has our fucking country become? This is the thing. This is a big thing. Instead of moving forward and advancing and working on policy to bring us to the future, we're asking questions that were answered decades ago. It's actual Chungus country.
Stronger, but we had no leader in the United States. I mean, Hungary, as an example, had no relationship with the United States, even though we do, billions of dollars in trade with.
Decade ago. Yeah, I just don't know why bring this up again? Sure, but if you poll Americans on should same-sex marriage be legal, that's going to be overwhelming. That's got to go through Congress, no?
With Hungary. Hungary's a big country economically. We do, billions of dollars in trade with Hungary. Why would they give that up? And they gave up so much else. Look, they gave up everything. This country was poorly run. I think...
Okay. Marriage is considered a local thing? Yeah, okay. I mean, if that just... That's the thing about textual versus, like, social advancement of law. Under right of license, but full faith and credit clause prevents selective recognition of marriage. So it should be fine then? Right?
If I didn't win the election, we might not have a country, if you want to know the truth. Not a recognizable country. But our relationship was immediately
Hey, the
good
white
as soon as
nationalist
I won the
talking
election,
points.
because
Nice.
Victor's one of the people that's highly respected, and we had a great relationship with Hungary. We do again. That was an easy one. Yeah.
Do you and Prime Minister Orban agree on ways to put pressure on President Putin to come to the negotiating table to end the war in Ukraine?
I think we agree that the
That's-
war's going to end. Sometimes people have to fight it out a little bit longer, but I think we agree that the war is going to end in the not too distant future. You want to talk about that, Victor?
Okay, also consider how far this promise has gone. It was gone for... I will have this war ended on day one. One phone call. Now it's, you know, at some point in the not too distant future, it'll maybe it'll end, but I mean, I can't do anything.
I have some ideas, and I will present it to the president. How to stop it.
His idea is, please, 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 don't fund Ukraine. Please, I love Putin.
Mr. President, since you brought up the Walmart Thanksgiving meal,
Yeah.
and it is cheaper, but it also contains less. As a affordability,
Well, I haven't heard that. You're telling me. Who are you with? Who are you with? Fake news. NBC. You're fake news. What?
Okay, so just let's do that segment again.
I have some ideas, and I will present it to the president. How to stop it.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Mr. President, since you brought up the Walmart Thanksgiving meal,
Yeah.
and it is cheaper, but it also contains less. As affordability,
Well, I haven't heard that. You're telling
That
me.
is true. We looked this up on stream yesterday. It contains about 75% of the items that instead of being like name brand items, they're now all great value ones. Walmart stated explicitly that they were doing this so that people could actually afford their Thanksgiving meal deal. Okay? The Walmart is recognizing the affordability crisis in the US. And look how Trump handles this shocking information.
Who are you with? Who are you with? Fake news. NBC. You're fake news. What a NBC's gone down the tubes along with most of the rest of them.
If I ask, why do you think there's such a disconnect between the economy that you're describing day to day and the way many Americans say people are feeling and they're concerned about?
Well, they feel better about our country right now, other than the shutdown, obviously, which is caused by the Democrats, could be ended by the Democrats in 2 minutes. They feel much better. We have more jobs. We just set a record on jobs. You do know that?
From what reporting? The government is reporting we're shut down, right? And ADP, or is it ADP? They reported that jobs are down. Excuse me.
We have more investment in our country than any country in history.
FDI is
We're
also
$18
down.
trillion as of this moment, and we're going to be maybe at 20 or 21 trillion by the time I finish up my first year. And there's been no country, China, no country in the world that's done anywhere even close to that number. Your friend Biden, as an example, in 4 years was less than $1 trillion. We'll be at 21 trillion in 1 year. So there's no country that was even close to that.
Again, I don't want to go through and just bring up the stats every single time. I don't have them on hand. We looked this all up yesterday. It's such horseshit. This 21 trillion is just people giving lip service. Ground hasn't broken, and the places ground has broken is because the planning was done during the fucking CHIPS Act because of Biden.
That, and our country was a laughing stock all over the world. We have more jobs. We have more potential than any other country. And frankly, we're the hottest country right now. Victor said to me before, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Think of it. We'll have $21 trillion invested. We have auto plants pouring back in. We have AI pouring back in. We're leading China in AI by a lot.
Wait, they helped create what?
We're leading everybody in every category. There's no category that we're in second place. So I just heard this yesterday that Walmart said that the Thanksgiving was 25% more expensive under Biden. That's a big, to me, that's a big number because
they also halted the order to fund SNAP. I thought that the Trump admin appealed it, and then the appeals court was like, no?
Walmart's respected. I mean, Walmart is Walmart, and, you know, they're giving you prices. So that would mean that the whole series of pricing and costs, you know, the groceries and everything else, it was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. The Democrats are good at a few things, cheating on elections and conning people with facts that aren't true. It was 25%. Walmart just announced it 2 days ago. 25% cheaper this year will be cheaper to have Thanksgiving than it was a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Say it.
You said affordability was a con job, and you didn't want to. You said last night you didn't want to talk about affordability.
I talk about it. When did I not want to talk about it? I talk about it all the time.
Dude, literally yesterday, it's like, I don't want to hear about affordability.
We are much better than Biden and all of them. Now, just so you understand, do you remember that the Biden administration had the highest inflation in 48 years, but most people say ever recorded? Do you remember that?
Do you remember COVID, dipshit?
Right? Do you remember it? Did they have the highest inflation in 48 years? Did they? Just answer me the question. You know the answer. The answer is yes. They had the worst inflation in 48 years. We have almost no inflation. We're down now to 2%, and we'll be at maybe...
And you ought to be on your knees thanking Joe Biden for that. You fucking disingenuous motherfucker.
1%. You want to always stay above 1%, actually. You want a little tiny bit of inflation. We're at a perfect number. They were at the highest level in recorded history, okay? And when you talk about affordability...
Recorded history is 47 years.
Let's talk about the second biggest subject after inflation, energy. We're going to be at $2 gasoline. We're going to be approximately $2 very soon. We're a little bit above...
The court has no power of the purse. They can only say if they have violated the law. An issue then a specific separate thing that compels the executive to do something within certain limits. True. The executive also doesn't have the power of the purse. They just disperse the funds. So
$2 right now for gasoline. Now, under Biden...
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is the executive does not have the power of the purse.
It was $4.50. It even hit $5, but it was $4, $3.50. We're going to be at $2 a gallon. So gasoline's much less. Energy costs are less. When you have energy and when you have gasoline less, everything else follows. It's such a big category. So
it's
when
not
you have,
following.
Lower energy prices, which I think you admit we do substantially, that means everything else. So we are the victors on affordability. But if I watched that election, which I was not much involved in, I didn't support Virginia, the candidate, didn't do a lot of support for the other candidates. They asked me about Cuomo, and I said, well, it's a question, do you want a thug or do you want a communist? I mean, that was my response. So I wasn't involved in that stuff too much. But
yeah, no, I got you.
I will say this. If you look at affordability, which they campaigned on, they lied because they talked about, oh, prices are up. No. Prices are down under the Trump administration, and they're down substantially. Energy prices are down by 30, 35, 40%. Gasoline is way down. And the other big thing is inflation is way down. The biggest thing is inflation. The second biggest thing is energy. Energy is way down, and what's also down? Gasoline. Also, the biggest thing is inflation, and
it's just everything. I don't know if he's told the truth in his life. Energy prices, true, they shot up under Biden, and then they fell. And under Trump, they're exploding. This is average retail price of electricity. I just... Who... How? I don't... Like, they were falling. Maybe. They're on their fucking way up. Dude.
way down. We took over a mess.
Literally, like, the only thing you have to do if you want to break out of MAGA is Google something.
The highest inflation in recorded history. Some people would say 48 years. I'll take either one of them. But I believe it's the highest inflation in recorded history. That alone makes it impossible for them to have done a good job affordability-wise. And one other thing. When I came into office, Victor, 2 days into office, they were screaming at me about the cost of eggs. I was there for 2 days. Eggs had quadrupled. And I said, listen, I just got here. Let me check it out. And they were right. Eggs had gone up by 3-4 times. Within a period of a few months, we had eggs down to a normal cost. We did a great job on groceries and affordability. The only problem is the fake news. You people don't want to report it. And, in fact, I'd like to ask Caroline. Where's Caroline? I'd like to ask Caroline a question. Where is she? Can she? Uh-oh.
Fetch her from the press dungeon. She's on the streets of Washington, D.C. biting cats or something.
She deserted us. She deserted me. Our great Caroline superstar deserted me. Anyway, she's right outside. She was going to talk about, because the fake news yesterday, they talked about that. They said, oh, I don't want to talk about affordability. The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under sleepy Joe Biden. And the prices are way down. Caroline,
oh, fuck, we might be fucked.
could you discuss
Alan.
that question that was asked, and how it was asked in such a fake, disgusting manner by the fake news?
Oh, my God. What the fuck? Okay, just so we can go into this with a clear head, let's watch what Trump actually said. Trump, I don't want to talk about affordability. Where this is from Trump. It was in this summit. Okay. Let's go to the affordability thing. Before we rip into this, okay.
So we talk about affordability. I think that's the best chart. That's better than a poll. That's better than anything I can think of.
He's talking about the Walmart
thing.
So
Walmart, which everybody trusts, and I trust, and everybody trusts Walmart, they're not looking to do anything except give the numbers. And they have for many years. They talk about the cost of Thanksgiving and the cost of
Walmart.
living through Thanksgiving.
Walmart.
And enjoying Thanksgiving. For Joe Biden, it was 25% more than it is for me at a later time. Our energy costs are way down. Our groceries are way down. Everything is way down. And the press doesn't report it. The press reports whatever the con people say. You know, I call the Democrats con men and women. They make
That's
up
a
numbers.
Great comment.
But when you
These two
look
in
at
tandem.
25% reduction in costs for Thanksgiving between Biden and me, meaning this administration, that's a tremendous number. It's the biggest reduction in cost in the history of that chart, or whatever it is they do. They do a synopsis of everything. They cover every element of Thanksgiving meals. 25% down. So I don't want to hear about the affordability, because right now we're much less. If you look at energy, we're getting close to $2 a gallon gasoline. With Biden, it was $4.50, $5. Another thing,
he's
inflation. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Now we have virtually no inflation at all. It's down at a very low number and a very normal number. So the affordability is much better with the Republicans.
Okay, that's the context. Now let's see what they say here.
That question that was asked, and how it was asked in such a fake, disgusting manner by the fake news.
Yeah, and I just saw it asked again here, and it's very unfortunate that the reporters in this room refused to address, sir, what you just said, which is that you inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history, and you are fixing it in 10 short months. And your entire administration has been tasked with this effort, from Treasury Department to Agriculture Department to the National Economic Council right here at the White House. They are slashing regulation. He signed the largest middle-class tax cut in 6 months. In 6 months, in record time, putting more money back into your people's pockets. So,
Okay, you want to know what Trump inherited, by the way? Okay. Here's what Biden was able to do. 9.1% down to 2.4%. Trump gets in. It's at 3%. It goes down for a second. And now we're back up. All right? Like, Trump ought to thank his goddamn lucky stars that Joe Biden was the fucking GOAT. Motherfucker.
affordability is what the American people elected this president to do, and he is doing it, and you guys refuse to cover it, and you refuse to cover that the previous...
The problem is that he's doing it. I was having this argument yesterday, is that he's passing some stuff. The big, beautiful bill, the tariffs, they all went through, and they suck, and people hate them. The approval of the BBB and tariffs is like 40%. Okay? The problem is the legislation, is the actions he's taking. People fucking hate it.
Administration created the worst
No, Republicans don't. Like, 60% of Republicans do.
affordability crisis in American history. And I've been watching the TV all day saying that he doesn't want to talk about affordability. That's what he's working on every day. And
That's what I'm talking about right now. But you know why they refuse to cover it?
Can I get
Because they're fake news. That's
Dude, Orban, no.
Caroline.
What is she?
Right now, but you know why they refuse to cover it?
Can I get
Because
her
they're
for
fake
someone?
news. That's why. Go
Can I
ahead.
get her someone?
Sure. Caroline.
All right. Orban wants a Caroline Levitt.
The Prime Minister would like you to work for him in Hungary.
Please consider.
She's-
Please consider.
You know what? That's a very good decision you just made. Please don't leave us, Caroline. Yeah, please.
You spoke to Republican senators. They do not seem interested right now in getting rid of the filibuster.
That's too bad. They're making a big mistake. That's right. No, but they're coming my way. You're right. Wait a minute. The way to do it for the Republicans is to terminate the filibuster. They call it the nuclear option. This is the second form of nuclear. Very good, very good. This is a good form. This is not a bad form. I would have been in favor of that a long time ago. But you know the Democrats are going to do that. And most of you will admit the Democrats are going to do that. So why aren't we doing it? And I think only a foolish...
Is that true? What you just said, or about the filibuster? So the filibuster being taken away, I think, is pretty unpopular. I think some Democrats are in favor of it. I can't tell you one way or another whether or not they would. That Democrats would. But Republicans in Congress are, the 69th, probably.
foolish person would be against that, especially when you realize that these are crazed people. These people are absolutely crazed, Trump derangement syndrome, whatever it may be. And I am totally in favor of terminating the filibuster, and we would be back to work within 10 minutes after that vote took place, and lots of other good things would happen. And it doesn't make any sense that a Republican would not want to do that.
If they're not going to do that, then it seems like you'd have to make a deal. Because there are some Republicans with principle, and I'm grateful. There are some Republicans that
won't pass my filibuster, and it's quite terrible that I fucking hate them. I wish we could abolish Congress altogether. It's supposed to be my rubber stamp.
Something like that.
Here's some of the things that we'd pass if we terminated the filibuster. Voter ID, no mail-in voting, no cash bail, no men and women's sports, no welfare for illegals. You could go on and on. This is 2 pages of things we'd do if you did that. Without it, I don't know that you passed anything because you can't deal with them. They're really irrational. They really are. But I was happy to see that a tremendous liability to this country, a woman that made herself rich in this country, Nancy Pelosi, is...
Okay. Any other time, I would have cared about Nancy Pelosi's husband's stock trading. I do think Congress people and their spouses should be banned from trading stocks. Or at least just, like, have to hold their positions when they enter. I think that's great. I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear it from the guy that's made $2.5 fucking billion off crypto schemes while in office. I'm sorry, I could not give less of a shit about Nancy Pelosi in that context.
Quit, and she'll be out of here pretty soon. And that I consider that to be a great asset for America, getting her out. Yeah, please go.
Are you really going to deal with Democrats? They're not interested in
I don't know. We'll see what they have. I mean, we'll see. But they're very destructive for the country. NBC, fake news.
I think our founders were very smart. They put together a great system, and it's our duty to maintain it. And right now, Trump is doing his darndest to erode it. I think we've slowly eroded over time, but Trump has pushed us from like 20%, 30, 40% erosion to like 95% erosion. So, yeah. I could do without the slavery.
Well, normally I would say, well, a little bit, but the reason that I'm not is because if they ever took over power, they'll do it. Look, Joe Manchin and Sinema.
But no, the founders were
people
based.
that are no longer in politics because of this issue.
I like this. Sorry, I fucking love this country. I love our system. I think we have to do right by our system and our founders.
Were opposed to what the Democrats wanted to do. They wanted to terminate the filibuster. They were opposed to it. They're no longer in politics. They're gone. The Democrats will do this. So if the Democrats are going to do it, I'm saying Republicans should do it before they get a chance. It's very simple. And if we do it, we will never lose the midterms, and we will never lose the general election.
That's what's funny, too, is even, like, if the filibuster is abandoned and Trump is able to pass all the shit he wants, that almost might end up better for Democrats because the legislation he passes is so ineffective and so unpopular and makes people's lives so much worse that they'll never vote for him ever. In the midterms, in the general, Republicans are going to have a horrible time.
Because we will have produced so many different things for our people, for the country, that it would be impossible to lose an election.
Are you worried about an AI bubble?
No, I love AI. I think it's going to be very helpful. So many things are happening with it. And in addition to which, we're leading China, we're leading the world in AI. We're building massive electric plants that the companies themselves are building for their plant. I've given them the right because we need so much electricity for that. Just the word is electricity, believe it or not. Double the electricity that we currently have in the country.
Who doesn't believe
for
it?
The AI plants. And I've allowed those companies to rebuild and build electric plants along with their facility. We're getting approvals done in less than a month, sometimes in 2 weeks, for massive, beautiful, massive buildings. And no, I'm totally in favor of it. I think it's really going to be the wave of the future, and we're leading the world. We're leading everybody by a lot.
How long do you think the shutdown will last? Mr. Orban, President, how long do you think the shutdown will last?
I don't know. It's up to the Democrats. The Republicans have voted 14 times to open up the country, and the Democrats have voted 14 times to hurt the country, really. They should approve it, but they might not. That's why I like the fact that we terminate the filibuster. If we terminate the filibuster, the country will be open within 10 minutes after that termination because we'll take a second vote, which is the opening of the country, and the Republicans will vote to open the country. That's one of the reasons Not the major reason, by the way. I think it's less important than the other things that we get. But if we terminate the filibuster, the second vote that we will take will be to open up the country. It'll take 10 minutes, and the country will be open.
Is there any room for bipartisanship? Because it seems like that's the main purpose of the filibuster. Is to
Not the actual question at hand. What are you doing?
create some sort of compromise. So
Well, it didn't work, obviously.
Because you're not. Oh my god. Would I want to be president? I don't think I have the temperament for it, but I would do it.
You're right. That was the purpose of the filibuster, bipartisanship, but that didn't work.
Because you're not letting it work. It worked for Biden. Biden respected it. He's like, okay, we have the filibuster. Let's negotiate with Republicans. We pass legislation. That's what an effective leader does. Doesn't just listen to his ideas and his majority party. It has to be some sort of input from the minority.
You're saying the next 3 years in Washington, there shouldn't be.
Well, no. If the filibuster is terminated, we will have the most productive 3 years in the history of our country. If the filibuster is not terminated, then we will be in a slog with the Democrats, and very little for either party will be done. So it's a good thing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
I love our democracy. I just, man, sometimes things go crazy. All right, well, that was only sign. No, you can't do technocracy. Sorry. It's got to be, has to be, everyone has an equal say. That is the system we have. And that is the system I want. I don't want someone with the ability to decide who does and doesn't, within reason, get to vote. It's just not happening.